Ada's world is turned upside down when she discovers her daughter Kemi's personal clothes hidden among her new husband's belongings. As she struggles to uncover the painful truth, the tension in the village escalates, leading to an emotional confrontation with the elders. With betrayal, hidden motives, and a desperate search for justice, Ada must protect her daughter from the unimaginable. Will the truth destroy everything or lead to redemption? This gripping story unfolds in a traditional African village, filled with vibrant cultural elements, colorful wrappers, intricate woven baskets, and a backdrop of community and mystery. The sun had barely risen over the small village of Lumo when Ada stepped out of her tiny, mud brick house, looking over her surroundings. Birds chirped merrily in the trees, and the cool morning breeze made the banana leaves rustle gently. Ada loved her home, the simple life she led with her daughter, Kemi, and the warm, friendly faces of their neighbors. Lumo was a peaceful place where everyone knew one another, and life was simple. Kemi, who had just turned 16, was the joy of Ada's life. Ever since Ada had lost her husband years ago, Kemi had been her constant source of happiness and strength. She worked hard to provide for her daughter, weaving baskets and helping with the village market, never allowing Kemi to feel the absence of her father too much. Life in Lumo was simple but not always easy. There were moments of loneliness, and sometimes Ada worried about her future and Kemi's future too. As the years passed, whispers among the villagers grew louder. People suggested that Ada should remarry, for her own sake and for Kemi's. Eventually, Ada started listening to them. A few months ago, a man named Si came into Ada's life. He was a traveler, passing through Lumo, but he decided to stay. Si was tall, with broad shoulders and a deep voice that carried a sense of confidence. He wore the traditional agbada made from the finest cotton, and his charm quickly won the hearts of many in the village, including Ada's. When he proposed marriage, Ada hesitated. She wasn't sure how Kemi would feel about having a new father figure, but after Si assured her that he would treat Kemi like his own daughter, Ada agreed. They were married in a small ceremony at the village square, where colorful clothes were hung on the trees, and everyone danced to the sound of drums. Life with Si, however, wasn't exactly as Ada had imagined. He was kind to her and provided for their household, but something about his relationship with Kemi seemed off. Ada noticed little things, like the way Si would sometimes avoid looking at Kemi directly, or how Kemi would go quiet whenever Si entered the room. But she brushed it off, thinking perhaps it was just an adjustment period for everyone. One fateful evening, after a long day of working at the market, Ada decided to wash some clothes. She gathered her clothes and Sehi's clothes, along with Kemi's, into a large basket and began sorting them in the backyard. The bright colors of their traditional clothing, Sehi's agbada, her own iro and buba, and Kemi's simple wrappers, were laid out on the line. As Ada reached for one of Sehi's shirts, her hand froze. Something small and pink fell out of the shirt. She bent down to pick it up and found herself holding Kemi's undergarments. For a moment, Ada stared at the piece of clothing in disbelief. Her heart pounded in her chest. What was her daughter's clothing doing among her husband's clothes? Her mind raced as she struggled to make sense of it. Could it have been an accident? Maybe it got mixed up in the laundry. But deep down, Ada knew that something was terribly wrong. The next morning, Ada was quiet as she prepared breakfast. She watched Kemi closely, noticing the nervous look in her eyes and how she avoided Si. As soon as Kemi left the house for school, Ada confronted Si. Si, why did I find Kemi's clothes among your things? Ada asked, her voice trembling with a mix of fear and anger. C looked at her, his face calm and composed, as if he had rehearsed this moment. "It must have been a mistake," he said smoothly, brushing off her question. "Maybe it got mixed up when we were moving things around." But Ada wasn't convinced. Her instincts told her there was more to the story. That night, she couldn't sleep. Thoughts ran wild in her mind. Had she done something to Kemi? Was her daughter hiding something from her? The next day, Ada decided to speak to Kemi. She waited until she left the house before sitting Kemi down in the living room, where the wooden furniture they had carved themselves stood still, and the woven mats added color to the earthy floor. "Kemi, is there something you want to tell me?" Ada asked softly, her hands shaking. "Has she ever done anything to make you feel uncomfortable?" Kemi looked away, her eyes filled with tears. For a moment, she said nothing. Then, slowly, she nodded. Ada's heart shattered into a million pieces. She felt a rage so deep she could barely breathe. How could she have betrayed her like this? How could she have allowed this to happen to her daughter? Without wasting any time, Ada went to the village elders. They were the ones who dealt with matters of justice in Lumo, and Ada trusted them to help her. The elders were seated in their usual spot beneath the large baobab tree, their colorful wrappers tied around their waists, their faces weathered with age and wisdom. The village drum, a symbol of authority, lay beside them. Ada told them everything: the clothes, Kemi's confession, and her growing suspicions about C. The elders listened carefully, their expressions grave. They promised Ada they would investigate the matter and take the necessary steps to protect Kemi. That evening, the elders summoned C to the village square, where the entire village gathered to witness what would happen. The sky was painted in fiery shades of red and orange as the sun began to set. Ada stood among the crowd, her hands clasped tightly together, her heart pounding with fear and anticipation. When she arrived, he was calm, as though he hadn't a care in the world. He greeted the elders with respect, but his confidence faltered when he saw the cold stares of the villagers. The head elder, Baba Aid, spoke first. "See, you stand accused of betraying your wife and harming her daughter. What do you have to say for yourself?" Sei's eyes darted around the crowd, and for the first time since Ada had known him, she saw fear in his eyes. He tried to speak, but his voice cracked. I would never harm Kemi," she stammered. "This is all a misunderstanding." But Baba Aid was not convinced. He turned to Kemi, who stood beside her mother, her eyes full of tears. "Kemi," Baba Aid said gently, "tell us the truth. What has she done?" Kemi's voice shook as she spoke. He would come to my room at night. He made me promise not to tell anyone." The crowd gasped in shock, and Ada's legs nearly gave out beneath her. She wanted to run to Kemi, to hold her close and protect her, but she stood frozen, her heart breaking into a million pieces. Before anyone could react further, she bolted, running through the crowd, disappearing into the night. The villagers shouted after him, but he was gone. The village was left in shock, and Ada was left to pick up the pieces of her shattered life. But as the days passed, Ada knew that Sei's escape would not be the end of this story. He was still out there, lurking in the shadows, and she couldn't shake the feeling that he would return one day. Wow, what an intense and emotional journey. If you've been captivated by Ada and Kemi's story and the suspenseful twists, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any new stories. What do you think will happen next? Will she return, or will the village finally find peace? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can be the first to know when the next chapter unfolds.